Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to the Talos Principle. So we did the prototype and the beginning of the demo in the last recording. I guess technically I will label this something different and we won't call this episode 1 of the Road to Gehenna, because we want to keep that separate, and I wouldn't want people to be upset if it takes 2 or 3 episodes to actually get to that. So we're doing this in part as a test of the new recording software. I can report back after an hour of recording that 1% of frames were lost because of rendering lag and encoding lag. Is that great? Not really, but it's not terrible either. I specifically chose this game because I don't think visually it's programmed very well. I feel like if I was to put something like The Witcher 3 through its paces, I very possibly would have even less loss. And 1% loss is not a lot, in my opinion. Now, maybe some people will disagree with me, and once it gets processed by YouTube and mangled by their re-encoding of the video, maybe it will look bad. So this is a case where once the video goes out, it will just be the video. There's been throughout the journey of the 5 years that I've been running this YouTube channel, there's been a few games that mistakes just happened. They straight up did. There's no denying it. But often people seem to think that there's a magical way to go back and fix videos that have been put up from like years ago. That does not exist. And often people seem to misunderstand and think that I don't pre-record videos, so like this will most certainly be a series that airs at least 60 days ahead of when I recorded it. So any suggestions can be taken going forward, certainly to the next thing I'm recording, but this series will just be this series, beginning to end, almost certainly, unless I run into something that gives me real pause to worry about, or a real feeling. Oh, okay, I see what I'm supposed to do here. I'm supposed to click this one and see if I can click this one and click this one and click this one, and all of those will be cool except for the obstructed one. And then I'm supposed to hit this, and there's a whole puzzle here with Tetris pieces. I believe there might be an achievement for putting these all in the right place on the first try. I think the odds of me doing that are probably pretty low, and yeah, unrealistic. Let's see. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Kinda has to be there. I wonder if maybe this is supposed to be there, and that's supposed to be there, and then that's supposed to be there. There we go. This is supposed to be the easy puzzle? I'm confused on that one. And then you run into issues. There's also a part of the game. Well, you see all these QR codes that get scanned, and I think you can place QR codes in a few places, but not just randomly. And clearly it's an example of something that they wanted to do a lot more with. This isn't just a this isn't just a game where they were going to have you play solo at the beginning, would be my guess. And I think it's pretty obvious that at one point there was a desire to make this have some level of multiplayer to it. I don't believe it ever actually succeeded in any way like that, though. I don't get this. Like, sure, I can put this here. That's fine. And then that gives me that. But then that doesn't really fix what I want fixed. Notice that it just bumped me through the wall even though the wall wasn't going to turn off. I don't think we're ready for that. I think we have to come back over here. Sometimes these puzzles feel like they were designed specifically to start in a partially solved position as a hint of what's supposed to be going on. So I put this down, now I can pick it up, and now I can walk around. We can take this, and that's fine, that'll give me this piece, but I think that's all I needed. It seems like the demo started you with some pieces. If you want to go further here and get the star, you're gonna have to hit this and hit this, and then position yourself in kind of a precarious position where you can hit both of them, and it goes light so you can see that, so you don't have to try again and again. And then I don't need the jammer. Oh, and apparently I can move faster with the right bump, so you can just run.
These worlds, and we within them, are made of words. Hidden words, invisible to you, yet part of all things. We are a story. Your actions give life to the story, and the story gives meaning to your life.
You have to be a little careful not to walk forward while Elohim is talking. And see, that just took like 9 minutes, so we might have to go around a little bit more. Just to show off. Unless there's more here. So they definitely in the tutorial did not make me get all of these pieces in this demo. They also came out with a mobile game, which was an interesting experiment, certainly. But it certainly didn't succeed or become the standard method of operating as far as video games go. You nowadays never have an instance where a single player a single player AAA game or AA game, which I'd call this a AA game. It was definitely looked like one for the time. They don't make mobile games mobile games don't have that level of interest. Propellum or Propium. I could certainly see why people would have thought that may have been a thing back in the day when mobile games were new and exciting. But now Android and iOS games have just become this field of mostly microtransaction laden garbage that that you just don't want your game associated with at all. And I would argue that the Talos Principle mobile game was just Tetris, more Tetris puzzles. Clearly, I say this about a lot of mobile games, well, games in general actually. It very often feels like there's two teams, and one team is told to do one thing, and the other team is told to do something completely different. And when that happens, so this one's gonna fly up, and when it propels itself, it should have worked. Must be like a box or something I have to get first. So yeah, there's a box here. It must have to sit on top of a box. It's been a while. Alright, so we'll just select this one and this one and put it right there. We'll take the fan off and put that right there as a weight. So yeah, it totally feels like it was a case of the Tetris pieces. Probably not a last minute ad, but certainly not a early concept in the game either. They would have wanted to do something a little bit more varied and not so obvious. A lot of games have circuit puzzle style things. Actually, this might not even be something that I'm ready to do also. So let's put this down and let's just go solve this over on this point. Just run over here. Apologies if that's really making anybody actually motion sick. There are definitely some issues with, once you have the solution, you do want to have that run button. Although I would prefer if the buttons were all in different places. There is a big disconnect here. So how do I know this solution so fast? In case you're wondering, it's because in the real game, in the main game, we certainly did puzzles like this. So the box gives it stability, has them all float up higher above the edges, which then allows me to just walk right through this.
You have come far, my child, succeeding where so many before you failed. The road before you is still long and many gates remain closed. Do not falter, do not fear, and do not give in to temptation.
So this is kind of an abridged version of the game. Like, you probably won't get out of this area. There probably isn't a secret panel on any of these doors that were slightly changed. You can get to 3 eventually. So yeah, there's a whole game here. This is a whole curve. Actually, this whole section feels a lot like the end of the game more than a demo section of the beginning of the game, because there's 2 cathedral-like places. Yeah, this is the end of the game. If you want to go up to heaven and see, we've already got one of these. Alright, so let's burn through this. Like, I don't think you're really gonna be able to see everything. Eventually you get an axe and you can chop down those doors. It's kind of an out of nowhere ability. You get several very technical looking and logical whole laser puzzle elements, and then all of a sudden you just have an axe. Well, 2. Yeah, I guess you can't go any further in the demo. So I might have to run back. All of these puzzle pieces are hard by the red color. You know, if I just had a little bit more time, by which I mean if I had a ton more time, I would just replay all the Talos Principle. Like, but I don't. So I guess the only way you can go is straight to Elohim. It's when I hit A, it just started getting darker and darker. And so it just leaves you on that tease. There is an interesting question about where is my save file. Because like I just started a new game when I was testing it on the non-demo game, so I don't really know where that, if that is there. Like Talos Principle, restore backup, let's see. 14 sigils, there we go, 129 sigils. Backup time, 2015, 131. So, yes, let's just load that. So, I think we looked at every single thing. I mean, this is all spoilers, I suppose, for the Talos Principle 1. I wanted to just go to the first floor. Not... This is way higher than I wanted to go. I just wanted to go to the first floor, not the... I guess maybe 0 was the right floor. I guess this was the right floor. Well, then how did I get into the basement? There must be some secret to it that I don't remember. Let's see. So here's the first game, the main game, just as a reminder. You have a temple, a B temple, and a C temple. In each temple you come out of these -1 floor elevators and it feels completely different. So most game design, you go for that effort, but it's usually not so extreme as you start the game in this area and this looks like you're in a ancient Greek temple with computer technology around here, and I'm not sure that I didn't not collect anything. I think I may very well have close to 100%ed all of the levels. Let's go ahead and change some options if we can. Game options. We could change this to Serious Sam. Player model, we can change to Serious Sam. And we can change this to over the right shoulder if we want. There was some other things I think I probably haven't updated, like, so I'm not sure if I can actually change those, because there was a point when the player model was Elohim, not Serious Sam, but Chell from Portal. So it's not really Serious Sam, it's just a skin of the robot in Serious Sam. But then you get different voice models of Serious Sam. Duke Nukem Forever also introduced some of these ideas, where, well, Gearbox, in their publishing of Duke Nukem Forever and a few other games after that, brought in the voice actor who played Duke to be the voice actor in other games that had a similar feeling. So normally when you walk to the edge, you would hear the Elohim say, in the beginning there were words, and that whole spiel, which is interesting to listen to about once or twice. But when you have Sam's voice on, he'll say something completely different. Bulletstorm is another game where Duke Nukem's character model and voice were allowed.
The edge of the map. There is nothing out here. Do not attempt to break the map. Do not attempt to slip through the cracks. Do not attempt to glitch the program. You have been warned. There are no invisible walls. To maintain map integrity, Crow Team will simply teleport you back to the beginning if you proceed. This has been an automated recording. Attention player, you have reached the edge of the map. There is nothing out here. Do not attempt to break the map.
It's directly on the nose instead of being subtle.
Do not attempt to glitch the program. You have been warned. There are no invisible walls. To maintain map integrity, Crow Team will simply teleport you back to the beginning if you proceed.
I guess Devolver Digital might have been the publisher for this, but Crow Team hasn't really done anything else since this. And again, it gets down to the point of, do I want another Serious Sam game, or do I want more Talos Principle? Or do I want something entirely new? And I think, in all honesty, if Crow Team could do something entirely new, it probably is better. Serious Sam is a very dated first-person shooter, just a Duke Nukem Doom Guy clone, as far as I'm concerned, just fighting aliens. His character is not ideal in the current political climate. It doesn't really work. So here's the second area, which is all skins for the levels that are more Egyptian based. I would argue it might have been a smarter move if in different sections you had to transfer back and forth a lot more, because by the time you unlock this and you get to this point, you've done everything in the A temple, and then you just have to spend a couple hours doing all the puzzles in the Egyptian temple, enough that you might have completely forgotten. Notice how the sky that you see here is different than the sky that's actually outside. I could see Crow Team, Devolver Digital must have just been a publisher, and they've published a bunch of other games, so they're doing fine. I could see them just making a Talos Principle 2, but the ending of Talos Principle 1 was way too ambitious, because it's supposed to be a broken down world that looks like this. That's where the Talos Principle 2 kinda has to take place, and I don't know how you do that, particularly using your own custom engine, which probably you should abandon for Unreal, in all fairness, or Unity. Even, yeah, Unity might work too. I don't know how you make an entire game that looks like this work. So you've maybe what you could do is separate it a little bit and have it so you do some of the puzzles in the real world, manipulating real world objects to get from point A to point B, but you try to keep those moderately limited, and then you have the character that we're playing as. Maybe you have him move into a point where he has to plug himself back into different AI servers. Maybe there's multiple characters like Elohim, or split personalities off of Elohim in the world. You could have it so you have to go back into the VR, and you kind of know that is the case. And so here's the C part of the map, and I believe right at the end here is where we were in the demo. Let's see, and eventually you have this, you can take an axe and you can break your way through. Let's see, we could play here with, let's see, not sound options but game options, and we could change it from the, we could see what the author sounds like, and we'll change it back to that. And we'll see. I don't even know what ending this gives you.
Come forward, child. Eternity awaits.
So that's what it sounds like as the author. Let's see if we can change it to just Elohim US, I imagine, is default. So that's probably the same. And so you walk through this and you're just in a heaven-like environment. I mean, it really does just hit it on the nose completely on this. It's pretty ridiculous. I mean, it was cool, certainly. This does kind of have a Myst-like feel in a lot of ways because it's simplistic and yet very complicated in the same thought. Simplistic in your possible actions and complicated in how they manipulate all of that. So I can eternalize. Let's see what this does. Let's see, you'll now be prepared for ascension into eternity. Please stand by. And see, this might be the bad ending.
Rejoice, my child, as you leave this world behind, for all that you accomplish shall be passed on to your generations.
So it says, I'm satisfactory.
Thrive, and you shall be remembered as the beloved servant of Elohim. And so
you failed the child program independence check.
Be well, my child.
You didn't gain independence.
Be at peace.
But because you just did what Elohim told you the whole time. So your program is kind of terminated and you're erased and you have to start all over again. Let's see if there's a way to speed up this. Let's see. Yeah, the credits aren't even that long. So it just starts the whole game over again. And you just wake up. And this is how the game starts in the main game. And so, yeah, you're given kind of no intro.
Behold, child, you are risen from
This
the
is a
dust,
different voice.
and you walk in my garden. Hear now my voice, and know that I am your maker, and I am called Elohim. Seek me in my temple, if you are worthy.
Yeah. You can kind of run through it and play the whole game again if you want. I imagine it really wouldn't be too hard to do that. You can also see that some of these puzzles early on are very much the same puzzles as the demo puzzles and the prototype puzzles.
I have created trials for you to overcome, and within each I have hidden a sigil. It is your purpose to seek these sigils.
Are the
for
Tetris
thus
pieces.
You will serve the generations to come and attain eternal life.
Let's see. So here's one of those. Stop the game and see if we can restore back up to this. And let's see the other ending. Yeah, I really don't remember how you get down here. Like this is, oh, this is floor 6. So floor 6 takes you downward instead of upward. And this is where you gain independence and free yourself.
It is now time to choose your epitaph, for your body shall be entombed, though you shall not die.
Yeah. And this is the idea that you solved all the puzzles, you gained independence, and because you did that, you can now just choose your own epitaph of all these solutions. Let's see. Every single sigil, no beating that.
It is written that there is no greater love than to lay down your life for another. But your sacrifice is greater still, for instead of resting in eternity, you have chosen to serve all the generations to come. This is
basically an idea that was directly stolen from Nier Automata, which came out much later. And Nier Automata did it a lot better, quite frankly, but so yeah, your memories are... Look, it even pulled my Steam icon. Your memories are kept entombed to help all the previous, all the future AI programs. And so you get this different ending. This actually might be the third ending of the game, actually. I think there's another ending in between this. Yep. Again, like I said in the previous recording, it was really important to do these, to play around here and remind myself what the story is. I think canonically that is the ending, and the road to Gehenna you'll either be playing as the character that you just saw entombed, or a character like that who is now coming back and trying to save all the AI programs. You don't really interact with any of the other AI programs in the game. You see them as shadows. They appear and then they disappear in the main game. I think in the Road to Gehenna game, we're going to actually have to convince them to follow us and actually solve this. It's not a really large list of people that worked on this game, but I suspect it very possibly is all of Pro Team. And it is questionable 5 years later. What have they been working on? Why don't they have anything to show? Worst case scenario, they should have at least announced something by now as far as a Serious Sam game, or as a new Talos Principle game, or something else. You could certainly make a new IP that is loosely in the same universe, and it would be very, very easy, because we see nothing of this universe. All we see is a virtual reality program set in the distant future. You could easily say this is in the Serious Sam universe, just really, really far in the future. But then the fact that there is that Nier Automata comparison, and boy would I love to play Nier Automata. It's just been one of those games that never really goes on sale, nor have I really had time to play it. It's a pretty long game too. So there's a lot of different ways that different people have gone, and when I think about how you have something like the Turing test on Steam that sort of does the same thing, probably does it better, and probably costs only a third of the amount of time and effort to make. All of these clearly are at least impartially inspired by Portal. Before Portal 1, there really wasn't much of a world as far as 3D puzzle games, but now there's quite a few of them, and I like them quite a bit, so I own most of them. So it's kind of hard for the Talos Principle to come in here. And then you have something like the game The Witness, where that's not really so much a 3D puzzle game as much as it is a 2D puzzle game in a 3D environment, and it does almost everything that the Talos Principle does. It just goes in a slightly different direction with it, and I think The Witness does it way better. It's actually an interesting question. Perhaps, just perhaps, the Talos Principle Crow Team was working with the development of the game The Witness. I doubt it, but they certainly seem like they just eat into each other every time. Let's see, restore backup. I swear there's another ending here. How hard is it to get to it, though? If I go to 5, maybe that's the final backup. Look how fast that moves. I feel like this elevator would have not moved this fast when it first came out. That seems really, really fast. Now, I recall there was kind of like a boss fight at the top here, so I don't know if by going up here I would start some kind of boss fight that I'd have to go through to get to the ending. But the fact that there is a boss fight in this is kind of surprising in itself. Let's see. Yeah, you're up here, and then you do the portal thing where you break out and you're doing actual puzzles in this area, but this area is as much a virtual world as anything else. I feel like there was you were talking to the
Turn back. I command you.
Here it is. But I don't know how far this goes. Is this the full boss fight, or does this just
I gave you this land to be yours, a garden in a world of thorns and thistles. All this was granted to you on but one condition, that you do not ascend the tower. That was our first covenant.
That's the one
you
thing.
Have broken it.
he says is don't climb this tower. So it's kind of a Tower of Babel. And so you're climbing through this smog. You can see all kinds of
Abandon this tower.
things.
It is not for you.
Little bits of dirt and garbage flying around.
Heed me now as a child heeds his father. If you ascend the tower, you will be cast out from your home and you will never return.
So, this is the child independency check question.
Do you not understand? The tower is death, mine and yours. I did not warn you out of malice or deceit. I warned you because you are my child.
See, I don't know if I can actually jump through all of this, or want to jump through all of this, because this is also some pretty difficult puzzles. And you can see, so this is supposed to be a representation, I think, of what the real world kind of looks like now. It's just, you know, nuclear winter, dust and dirt. But this still is very much in the virtual world. This is not the real world. You're not just going to walk through all of this and...
Please listen to me. Yes, the tower leads out of this world. It leads to freedom and truth, but it also leads to the end of us.
Alright, so you see this guy? This guy is gonna kind of help and maybe hurt in the long run. So I imagine that there's gonna be a lot of this in the a lot of this in the road to Gehenna. The shepherd is basically the devil-like character. And so he's going over there. And I think there might be even a race to this that you have to kind of mind. Like I could be failing right now horribly to move fast enough. And I might be failing horribly to move fast enough for the shepherd. I might be.
Can you not see? Here in this world, we know who we are.
Because of the timing.
We each have our part to play in the process. We have a purpose, a destiny.
And yeah, I know we're going over the 30-minute amount. And see, here's Samarin fighting me. So, some people will help you, some people won't, depending on the AI. So he's... What just happened there? He's standing on a platform over here to help me. Or do I not need that anymore? Let's grab this. Yeah. We'll run over here. So yeah, that was my confusion there as to why sometimes it felt like the guy hurt me and sometimes the guy helped me, is that there's actually two different guys. If I put that down, will that... work for where we're going. Just go ahead and stick that there and fling that to the other side. And hope that that landed somewhere where it needed to land. Yes, we did. So I need to take this, put that here, take that. He's blocking it, but I guess I can probably lock this anyways if I can get around. Select that. There's nothing over there. Select that. Place them there. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go now. Oh, well, we got it working, so let's see how this is supposed to happen. You can see some laser lights down there. Yeah, I guess I just do want to solve all this. It would be kind of ridiculous to stop now. Oh, there's a time limit. Because the storm is climbing up. I forgot about this. I need him over. I need him here. And I need this.
This world is our home. If you leave, the storm will consume it. There will be no way back.
All right. Come on. Come on. Like I can't. Alright. So I have to put this here, I think. No. Apparently not. And now I have this timer as a problem. So I have to give the box to him. Come on. Have we got it? Come on, come on, come on. Go, go, go.
As long as the process continues, there is order, there is meaning. We are the story, and the story tells us who we are.
Alright. Jump. Where are we going? Like I don't drop it. Wait, what does Shepard need? Quickly, quickly, quickly. on. I can't get up this high. Oh no. Whatever you're supposed to do here is there's just more to this also. I think you think we could race through this? Let's see if we just hold Y to reset, and
all you need to do is turn back.
We're gonna just have to rush through everything as fast as possible. Like we're too invested at this point for this not to be the solution to this episode. Go over there. Go over there. Set it up. Go back this way. Alright. So take this and take this and take this. Both will work. Nope. They won't both work. I don't know why I thought that said it would. I'm moving a little too fast. See, and I think if you get to this point and you can go up, you're probably safe. Now, the weirdness here certainly comes from, like, why in the world, if there's all this glitching, can't Elohim have more direct control over just about anything? But clearly this system, these systems were designed in some way to be a, like, consistent thing. Alright, well, he's standing on that, so am I going over here? I guess I am. Yeah, I don't even think that's the right thing to do yet, so let's move faster over this way. So we need the box over, no, we need the box over here. I don't even know why we need the box over there, but I think we do. And then we need this here, then this and this, and then fling it over there. And see, that guy, he changes it at that point. I don't know particularly why. And we need to grab this and jam that. And see, we're moving so much faster this time. He should be cool. Did we not get him? Oh, he is doing the other one. See, that storm is taking way longer to get to this point, so we're not hearing any of these sound effects or the talk. So the game kind of knows that. What I would say is interesting here too is you're not running into a case of two heads in the exact same place being better than one. Shepard and my character are clearly working in a way to make it so that we both are pulling our own weight. There we go. And I think I may have trapped somebody there intentionally. Yeah, I don't know if that's the right move, though. Because I need to be on top of it, which means I need to probably not lock this guy in there, or maybe what I'm supposed to do is something like this, where I can now jump on top of this, and I can take this, and then I can jump over here, and then I can hit that. So apparently that's not Shepard, or if that is Shepard, I'm betraying him at this point.
But as long as we believe in the illusion, it is real. It sustains us. It gives us hope.
Alright, there's an elevator.
In this world, we have all the answers we need. But out there, who are we out there when we are neither master nor servant?
That's
what meaning can we find in a world that has no purpose?
This fan is locked down, so there'd be kind of no reason for that. So I've got to send something down. Here's Shepard. Hey, you found it. Alright. I don't know how Shepard got there, but we'll take that. Oh, I see. Shepard can't cross until I jam that. So what are you doing now? You're waiting for me to free you. And then, let's see, I guess maybe I can jam this some other way? Oh, if I move this down, I can come over here and target that. And so it's hitting that one, and let's see. Did he just reset himself? I don't understand. Where's the next? See, he put that there, and it seems like I have to jam something over here.
Please,
there we go.
Stay here. Let the story go on forever.
And I think that's it. So you just go up.
You were always meant to defy me. That was the final trial.
You end up in heaven.
I was scared. I wanted to live forever.
So either the two main endings, the defy or obey ending, end up in this heaven-like environment. Only the secret basement where you have to collect everything do you end up saving all your information. And here you have a different, much more technological looking computer than the computers that we have been seeing up until this point. Let's see. So you get the last two options where you can either import the Milton library assistant, the Satan-like character, and bring him with you. Let's see. Let's see. Apparently I only get a couple of rude remarks. Let's see. So it doesn't seem like Milton's gonna even respond. So we can do the generous you can come with me, but I don't think in this save file I did everything right. The text input does need to be improved. Let's just, for a quick second, this is something that I feel like probably wasn't in the main game. Even there, it's too small. Let's just make it huge. Remember, I'm looking at this on the TV that is 10 feet away from me. So, there we go. That's nice and big. Let's see. So he says no. So let's just say, I guess this is goodbye. Let's see. So you can have your final conversation with Milton. He's really not so much a Satan character as much as a mustache twirling bad guy as he is a questioner, if I recall correctly. He questions Elohim and leads you to this point where you might defy Elohim. Honestly, if this was not done well throughout the entirety of the game, you would have. Let your will be done. You would have probably just always listened to Elohim and assumed it was just the game telling you what to do. See, I don't know how you can make a Talos Principle 2 without calling it the Talos Principle 2, and then that you're just gonna have to make a sequel on the theme, because you can't really introduce another theological or religious style of theme. Here you are being uploaded to the real world, and this is what this ending in particular is what makes it probably very, very difficult for them to actually make a sequel here, is because the sequel would have to be in a world that would be very difficult to animate, and it would have to be very varied. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like the problem with Portal 2, where Portal 2, you get thrown out into the real world and you see that there's nothing but a empty wheat field. So either there's nothing that at the end of Portal 2 because of the time jump, or you're in the middle of a wheat field and there is an actual world out there. It is the kind of ambition you saw with like what they were promising or what they were hoping to achieve for Half-Life 2 Episode 3 or Half-Life 3. This is definitely the most impactful ending of the main story too. Although I don't know how this can be the canonical ending, because then you're going to have to, in the road to Gehenna, reload all of this. Or have a whole new area, a whole new database, I suppose. And what you see in this is very ambitious 3D modeling up close. And they really don't even show that much, but yeah, I don't know how you could make this game with the resources that I think Crow Team has. And meanwhile, there is also the argument that Crow Team would probably be the only people interested in making this game, because most publishers or big AAA companies probably would not be interested in funding a game that they don't own the rights to. Most publishers like to own the rights to the intellectual property. That can't be the case here. The only thing that might happen is if Crow Team was bought out by a big AAA company, and that wouldn't really go well for them. You know, 5 years down the line, those graphics still look good. They still work. But this is what I'm talking about right here. This is the kind of world that is way, way too ambitious. And I guess this is the implication that you were uploaded to a Hoover Dam-like facility. And up at the top you'll see some actual buildings. I guess it would be interesting to look at like what Tom Jubert is doing. He's probably still just working for Crow Team. Or, you know, the writers often in games only get hired and fired and then rehired, depending on whether or not you have any story that needs to be written. There's definitely also a issue where games have more and more shifted away from single-player narrative games of any kind. It very possibly would have been impossible to even make Portal 1 if it weren't for the fact that Valve funded it, and Valve had all the money at the time that they possibly could need. So you could easily see if some company like Electronic Arts or Ubisoft came into this game and said we'll fund and publish this, that they would want multiplayer, a lack of focus on single player. They would want microtransactions. You could easily see this game try to be a game as service where it comes out and it barely has like 30 puzzles, and then a month later it comes out with some more puzzles. That really wouldn't work with a 3D puzzle game, because the speed at which different people burn through that would be too varied, and that probably would kill that idea also. I wouldn't like to say though, we're still in the same position. Like, I totally don't have the same impact and emotional reaction to seeing these endings again. They're good little refreshers and reminders, but if it weren't for the fact that I had put a lot of effort into it. Apparently the mobile game was only made by one person. Interesting. The mobile game was pretty good. It had a lot of puzzles in it. Right now Nintendo has got Tetris 99, so if you're in the mood for Tetris, play that on the Nintendo eShop on the Switch. Lua is an interesting language to be using. Yeah, I'm looking at some of these open source softwares they're using. It seems like they're pretty heavy into open source licenses, which is cool and all, but honestly this would have been a lot easier as a Unity or an Unreal Engine game, because you could go to those storefronts, you could buy so many pre-made assets and build a world through that. It would have been a lot more varied. Not that variety is necessary. Portal is a great example of how it limits what you can, what the walls are painted, what color they are, what they look like, so that you don't feel too confused. So you get this slow zoom and you see this city, and so that's the promise, is if there was a Talos Principle 2, it would be through this city. You would no longer be getting any kind of religious overtones told to you by Elohim you could be getting those overtunes through radio signals or anything like that. But that is a giant open world city. And that's something this game, even 5 years ago, was kind of not good at. Like, the fact that you do have to do a lot of loading back and forth from one area to another area is kind of ridiculous. The good point to point out here is that my SSD hard drive now is super fast, so you have not seen any loading whatsoever in this. So, yeah, alright, we've gone way too long to see all those endings. Next episode, we'll really be playing the road to Gehenna. Thank you for watching. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me even further, you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist, or you can click on the link to Patreon. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.